I got nothing going on.
You know, so maybe it's breadsticks.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to July 28th meeting of the Plan Commission. It's a nice steamy day out today. Mr. Secretary, can you call the roll, please?
Yes. Mr. Claxton?
Here.
Mr. Garrett?
Here.
Ms. Tinsley Price?
Here.
Ms. Means Davis?
Present.
Mr. Cassidy?
Here.
Mr. Nolly?
Here.
Ms. Soviar?
Here.
Mr. Hall?
Here.
Mr. Comstock?
Here.
Thank you. First rule of business is approval of minutes.
Move we approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, minutes approved. We have no old business for tonight, so we'll move on to our new business. Mr. Secretary, could you read it and get started?
Yes. First item under new business is PC 2025-04 Lumberman Site Development Plan. The petitioner's name is Mark Vanderbent of Lumberman's Inc. The owner's name is Distribution Properties LLC. The petitioner's representative this evening is Chris Booth and Colin Finch. Address of the property is 861 Elston Drive. Zoning classification is IL Light Industrial. And the request this evening is for site development plan approval for a new approximately 50,000 square foot warehouse.
Thank you. Could I have the petitioners come to the podium and tell us a little bit about your project? We'll let you explain what's going to happen, then we will take questions from the board if you'd be glad to answer those.
Colin Finch, work for BK Civil, the civil engineer for the company for Lumberman's developing the project here. I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan, 7503 Woodvale.
You want to give them your microphone?
Screen line. All right, start over. Still need to say my address and all that.
Please.
All right. Colin Finch, I work for BK Civil. We're the civil engineers for Lumberman's on this project. I'm from Grand Rapids, live at 7503 Woodvale Street there. With me here today.
Steve Fleischman, I'm the operations manager of the Lumberman's location. I live in Nashville, Indiana.
So the project here is to put in an industrial warehouse facility here adjacent to the other properties that Lumberman's also owns and operates the facilities out of. Warehouse facility with 2 drives coming off of Elston, water and sewer service for the building, minimal parking area, and then outdoor storage surrounded by opaque fence. Landscaping according to the ordinance around and in front of the building, with stormwater management both in the front of the building and underneath the north pavement area for the outdoor storage to mitigate and manage the stormwater to make sure that we're meeting ordinance requirements and not sending any more stormwater to Elston or the neighboring properties. Anything else I'm supposed to talk through that?
Well, we'll take some questions from the board if you just hang on right there. Mr. Claxton?
Questions?
Mr. Garrett?
Yeah, first off, I think it's great that you guys are expanding. I'm glad that you guys are doing so well. But with this expansion, is there any more jobs that you are adding to this warehouse facility?
Yeah, potentially there would be. We've been growing. Obviously, we've operated out here for 25 years or so, formerly Shelby Dealers. And business has been good. We're expanding. I could definitely see it bringing future jobs. But right now we're just completely out of space.
All right. Well, it's a good problem to have. So
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Good
that's
luck.
what they tell me.
Ms. Tinsley Price?
No questions.
Ms. Davis?
No questions.
Mr. Nolly?
No questions.
Ms. Soviar?
No questions.
Mr. Hall?
no questions.
Mr. Comstock?
No questions, just comment. Thanks for working with us through all the tech review comments. I know we had quite a few there initially, but thanks for addressing all those.
No, appreciate it working with the city and especially Tyler and Adam along the way.
I don't have any questions either, so I'll close it to the board and I will open up to anybody in the public that has any questions or comments concerning this project. None seen. Adam, is anybody online? We don't have to worry about that anymore.
The only member of the public joining is another representative from the team,
Okay,
the project team.
thank you. I'll close public comment and we're ready for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve that the site development plan as presented to this body imposing the recommended conditions pursuant to the planning staff's reports and finding of facts.
We have a motion and a second, so if you'll cast your ballots and send them down, please.
A motion by Mr. Garrett and a second by Mr. Nolly for approval with the recommended conditions. Ms. Means Davis, yes. Mr. Claxton, yes. Mr. Garrett, yes. Ms. Tinsley Price, yes. Mr. Comstock, yes. Mr. Hawley, yes. Mr. Casti, yes. Mr. Nolly, yes. Ms. Toviar, yes. Motion carries.
Good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Next one, Mr. Roon.
Yes. Second item on the agenda. The agenda is incorrect. The staff report is correct. It is PC 2025-07, not 08. It's Van Trust Realty Site Development Plan. The petitioner's name and owner's name is Van Trust Estate LLC. The petitioner's representative tonight is Kylie Bright Schuler from American Structure Point. The address of the property is approximately 1100 Mausoleum Road. Zoning classification is currently and proposed IG General Industrial, and the action requested this evening is site development plan approval for a new cold storage warehouse building with support buildings.
Could the petitioners please step forward? You would state your name and who you're with and
Yep.
tell us about your project.
Yeah, sure. My name is Kylie Bright Schuler. I'm with American Structure Point, the civil engineer.
My name is Brad Kendall with Van Trust Real Estate.
Thanks, and thanks, Adam. So yeah, we have the site plan pulled up, and it is a 180,000 square foot approximately cold storage facility with the possibility for 50,000 square feet expansion. There's also two auxiliary structures that serve for the functionality of the overall building and site process. We also have rail access and design, which is a part of this plan set. There are 3 curb cuts off of Mausoleum Road proposed, and our detention and stormwater infrastructure is to the south as well, outletting to an outfall location south of Mausoleum Road. And we also have appropriate utility infrastructure to support this site as well.
Thank you. Mr. Comstock, any questions?
No questions for me.
Mr. Hall,
No questions.
Ms. Sylvia,
No questions.
Mr. Nolly.
None yet.
No
Okay.
questions. No
Ms. Price,
questions.
Mr. Garrett,
No questions yet.
Mr. Claxton.
Questions?
Well, I don't have any questions as of yet either, so I will close it and open it up if anybody has comments to the board from the public. Folks, if you would sit down and we'll see if anybody has anything to say from the public. If you come up and have something to say, please state your name and address. Thank you.
Forgive me, I'm not a public speaker. My name is Michelle Stitt. My address is 1438 West Mausoleum Road. And I may get these confused between number 2 and number 3 because it will still affect my home. I was curious, I'm not here to stand in the way of progress, and I understand bringing jobs to Shelbyville, that's great. I was wondering, Mr. Evans kind of explained to me the difference between it's currently zoned light industrial and what they're proposing is general industrial. And I was wondering what the difference was between that, what that means. I know what Ryobi is, and then I can hear the things that go on at Ryobi currently.
Okay, Mr. Wu, can you answer that?
Yeah, a portion of the property, a little less than half of it right now is in the city limits. And I believe it's actually zoned general industrial, which is the same as Ryobi and the rest of the industrial park. The next petition up is a request on the zoning classification for the rest of the property that they are asking to bring into the city limits. That request would be to zone that general industrial as well, which would allow a wide variety of different industrial uses. The proposal on this site, though, is cold storage warehouse.
So it's
Similar, but yeah, different from like Ryobi and some of the manufacturing facilities there.
okay. I don't know, Ms. Kylie Bright Schuler, if you could answer this. How many jobs is this going to bring to our area?
Just stay right there and we'll take all the comments, then we'll come back and answer
Okay.
those. So,
Okay, I was curious, what type of jobs and what type of, is it a skilled labor, it is a general labor, like rate of pay, those kind of things, so I know what's coming to our area. She said that we already have appropriate utilities, infrastructure at the site. So I was curious, for me, what just happened with the construction going on our road is not very wide. It has no markings on my road. And we have had 3 instances where semis have went off the road and blocked traffic because of the detour. And a lot of people keep turning around in our driveway and it's kind of crumbling our asphalt at the end of the driveway. But I'm curious as far as like utilities, because of the people going off the road, we lost power 3 times in 1 week and I work from home. I mean, is that going to be done before they plan on breaking ground? Is that going to be during, after? So I know how that affects us. I was curious, as it says, this surrounding properties future land use, north, south, east, and west, and it all says industrial. So I live west, I live 2 driveways west, so I was kind of wondering where that came into play. Utilities wise is a big one for us. Do we know if we're going to have to elevate the road like we have on the Tom Hessen project? They had to bring in a lot of dirt. We have a drainage and flooding problem currently. And if you build the road up when you widened it, is that also going to mean that you're going to put drainage in to be able to help fix that problem for us people that still live there? Trying to see if I'm missing anything. I was wondering utility wise for power, because it's going to take a lot of power for cold storage. Are our lines going to be upgraded just because we currently do have a problem where we lose power? That's.
sir, if you want to speak, you can come up to the microphone, please.
Station is number 3. Yeah, so.
Thank you.
Utilities and, okay.
Okay, is there anybody else from the public that,
Yes, my name is Shannon.
Anna Bright. My husband and I live at 1240 West Mausoleum Road. I'm concerned about a lot of things with what's going on. First of all, does everybody know where this is at and what's being done and how it is being done? Are people here acquainted with this this situation? Interesting.
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I couldn't quite hear it.
My question is, do people here know where this is located, what all entails that they're taking out, what it's going to do? I'm also concerned about when you do this, also with drainage, because that is a very low land over there. It sits lower than my property. When they build up to build all these buildings, how are you going to deal with the drainage problem that's going to come into my yard? I'm a landowner, but I'm a homeowner. Most of all, I love my home. It sits very close to the road, and I understand the road needs widened. Actually, the road just needs repaired. It would be nice. The semis are doing very well. I've watched probably 12 today go by each other. I've watched traffic when we had all of State Road 9's traffic, and everyone did very well. It took some cooperation, but it tore things up. If the road was properly maintained as it should have been over the last 25, 30 years, we'd be okay. But we're not. So I realize something's going to have to be done there. I have another huge concern. My home is close to the utility lines. I've talked with people with Duke, with RAMC, and I was wondering if anyone here can tell me how they feel about the upgrades to the electrical, how it's going to go when they take the poles and widen the road, if that's what you're proposing to do to get traffic in and out of this facility. That's a huge concern to me. You can't come any further into my road with those high tension lines. Duke will not do it. Does that mean you're going to expel me from my home? What plans do we have with this? I already have the gas pipeline in my front yard. I'm concerned about, are you going to shut off the water at the point where you no longer need it right now? I realize that you're wanting to bring Shelbyville right to my fence row. I understand that. Am I going to call it progress? No. You're going to run out a lot of really nice things that are in that woods. It's a shame. Of all the places in Shelby County you could do this, but I know Shelbyville wants the income. How is it going to be paid for to do the sewage, to get the water there, to get the electric there? Duke Energy has reservations with this, and I know they do. Can anyone answer any of these questions for me? No?
I'll answer them here, yeah. I'll answer them here in a minute, once questions are over.
I assume, I'm worried about the water line, of course. The gas line is in my front yard already. How will the zoning affect all of us out there? We're wanting to know, are you wanting to get us into Shelbyville right away? How is that going to play out? Really, do I have any options, or is this already set in stone and is going to be done? It seems like all the plans that everybody's discussing, and they've never even discussed them with other property owners. And I don't think that's right either. I want to know who pays for the upgrade with Duke Electric. Is it going to be the citizens of Shelbyville? Are you going to annex it so that when you come through my front yard, you don't have to pay me for the property you take out of my front yard? And I don't have that large of a front yard. The water drainage is a big deal for me. That was a swamp. That woods is a swamp. That's what it was. Now the drainage is going straight through my field, over to my neighbor's driveway, and causing a great deal of problem. So we're already in a situation out there. This bringing this in makes no sense to me at all, but I can tell by everybody's face that it's pretty well set in stone. But I would like to have some answers with the electric, the utilities, how the drainage is going to affect my yard. How soon are you planning on annexing? Has that already been, anyone here know, anybody give me any, I don't see the mayor here. Do we have any idea how soon I'm going to be annexed into Shelbyville? And when I am annexed into Shelbyville, does that mean I can no longer have chickens? No longer go out back and shoot not have fires, not live like I'm living in Shelby County. As you can tell, I'm feeling rather emotional about it because you could have picked a lot of places in Shelby County, or have you already sold them all out? I hear Dannon wouldn't sell back to Shelbyville and they wanted to put it there also. I have a lot of questions, a lot of problems. I hope somebody can come up with some answers, please.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public?
My name's Anthony Stitt. My beautiful wife, we live at 1438 West Mausoleum. My one and only question for this whole entire board, including the people proposing it, if you were going to put this in your backyard, would you still vote for it? Because it's going in my backyard. Would you still vote for it if it was in your backyard? Would you still want it if it was in your backyard? Probably not.
Thank you. Anybody else from the community? Mr. Schuler?
Dwayne Schuler, 1574 Rolling Ridge Road. I think kind of going along with some of the things they were asking, you know, I'm not familiar with the property. I'm not familiar with the issues that you have. But one thing I did notice looking at the drawing is the wetlands that are noted on there. And it looks like from this plan that there's plans to preserve at least portions of those wetlands. So just some clarification on that. The second thing, I don't know, I know the state has changed their laws, their rules. Okay, all right. I know they've changed their rules as far as protection of wetlands, but I don't know exactly what those rules are and how that plays into this project. You know, if there's a certain amount of those wetlands that have to be protected, and that if the retention ponds that are being proposed will help mitigate some of that loss. So if that could be explained, that might help a little bit with some of the concerns from the adjacent property owners. Thank you.
Thank you. I will close this to public comment now, and I'll come back to the board. And Tyler, could you help answer some of the, Tyler Comstock is our city engineer and
Sure.
knows quite more about this that he can answer for us.
Yeah, so I know the big ticket item for the public is mainly the roadway, the infrastructure, the drainage. So just to give you a little bit background, the city of Shelbyville is working in a partnership, a development agreement with Van Trust Realty we're putting together a deal where Van Trust is kicking in, sharing some of the prices for upgrading the roadway. We're actually working with American Structure Point from Mausoleum all the way from Enterprise Drive all the way to future Tom Hessian. I forget the linear feet. Do you happen to know, Kylie, off the top of your head? But so we are working with them to totally reconstruct the roadway. This includes widening it to two 12-foot lanes, 4,000 linear feet. So we are looking to widen the roadway there, as well as providing 2-foot stone shoulders on each side. With this roadway project, we're looking into the drainage. We actually had a meeting about it this morning. Along with the roadway project, we're also extending the water main from Enterprise Drive to the western property line of the Van Trust real estate. What else was there? Duke Energy. So along with the roadway project, American Structure Point, myself, we've been coordinating directly with Duke Energy regarding the transmission lines, just making sure everything's coordinated to see what we can or can't do, whether or not they need to remain in place so that we don't have to move them, or whether it be we have to relocate them for roadway or any kind of other clearances. Some of that will take time. Duke Energy usually does that work themselves. We just have to coordinate it per the civil engineering plans that's needed. So the way that we're doing this is, just to give you a little bit of background, I've done a lot of private development work, and the best way to do it is do it together. So for instance, if it'd be cheaper for everybody if we can get all of the same contractors on board for both projects, the roadway and the private development. And the reason is having the same team working both projects, it just meshes so much better. There's no gaps in scope or scheduling or like closures if there needs to be any kind of closures or restrictions. You have the same contractor kind of working on both so that everything just gels right together. So that's part of that partnership with Van Trust is they're pitching in a good amount of money to help with this, along with Structure Point. It helps that Structure Point is designing both the roadway and the private development, as well as a lot of the utility infrastructure.
Thank you. So we've closed public comment. So is that all you?
So as you can see, we're looking into all the infrastructure, the roadway, the water, the power, the drainage. Regarding the drainage on the site, Kylie, you let me know if I'm stepping on your toes, but as the city engineer, a big part of my job is to review these plans that the design engineers submit to the city. One thing that I always look at is drainage. So for instance, you're talking about the wetlands that are located in red, well, they were up there. The wetlands that are located in red. The state of Indiana requires certain what do I call it, credits, or if you have to replace it, it's to a certain ratio. Structure Point did a really good job of preserving a lot of those wetlands so that they will remain in place, and it's also fed through their proposed site. The proposed detention ponds on the south will detain the water per our drainage standards and then release at the existing drainage point. That's currently, I believe, a 12-inch CMP under Mausoleum Road. So basically what that does is the whole site will drain to their detention ponds. That will hold that water back, and then that will release through a controlled outlet. That way it's coming out as a trickle versus a bunch of impervious surface just dumping the water on the neighboring property. So one of the big items related to drainage design on a private project is looking at the tie-in points of all of the surrounding property lines. One of the biggest things I always look at is we cannot be pushing water onto other people. So looking at these plans, everything is caught either via a drainage swale, and it's conveyed to the detention pond through either a swell or a proposed storm sewer. So that's the way everything's designed. That's what I do when I look through all my reviews. What else was there? I think I touched on a lot of it, everything I can.
Thank you. Ms. Schuler, could you stand back to the stand, please?
Yeah, thank you.
Go right ahead.
Yep. Appreciate everyone's comments, and thank you, Tyler. I think you covered a lot of it. Yeah, I just wanted to touch on the wetland permitting is in process, but as Tyler mentioned, we are maintaining a lot of it, but it is being appropriately permitted and through both the state and Army Corps of Engineers. And then, yeah, just to touch on your question about how many jobs, I was just informed that over 100 full-time jobs was what is intended for this facility. And I think Tyler covered everything else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll open back to Gary. Did you have a comment?
With her questions and what you were saying. So one of the questions that she had was like the power lines. I know you're still working on, maybe you don't have an answer, but apparently there's not enough room for power lines movement from what she was saying. So do you have any, can you elaborate on that, or is it too early?
Yeah, so what I will say is we're working, again, since the roadway project is for the city, even though this petition is for the private development, we're working as a team. So we're working with Structure Point to minimize the impacts to the Duke electric lines. Now, there will be some that may be relocated. Would you say three, maybe? 3 or 4 poles that need to be relocated for their entrances. So we're gonna try to minimize the impact to the electric lines as much as we can. We just might have to move some of the poles to avoid the new entrances. But that's just constant utility coordination that's needed for typical private developments as well as roadway projects.
But if widening the road, I don't know how close these poles are to the road, so kind of just building on that.
Yep.
Is the widening of the road gonna need poles to move into yards?
Yeah, so we were just talking, we actually had a meeting about that this morning. We're looking into the drainage ditches on the north side of the roadway to see what kind of impacts it is to the poles. Now, from my past experience, you can do some fill around the poles. Fill is always better than cut because you don't want to reduce that earth around those poles. But we're looking into how we can convey the water around those poles for a drainage ditch so that we have positive drainage. Again, the road, we're not going to be adding curbs. It's going to be very similar to what's out there now. We're just putting in a thicker section. Just to give you a little bit of background, we had those core samples that Adam shared with me this morning. Right now, that pavement's 5 inches thick on 4 inches of stone. With the roadway project, I believe it's 14 inches of asphalt on 6 or 8 inches of stone. So we're going to give it a much beefier section to handle the traffic on there, as well as giving it a wider section. We're working out some of the curves and things like that to avoid the poles. So
Is that the full 4,000 linear feet?
yes.
That thickness?
Yeah.
Thank you. Come
I'm sorry,
back up.
go- yeah.
Yeah, if you want some more insight on that too. The existing road, it's not like a large widening, I would say. We're just giving true 2 12-foot lanes with 2-foot shoulders. So it's not like you're adding a whole nother lane and then therefore needing to bump those transmissions lines. So we're being, really intentional about how we're widening it and where we are specifically so that we avoid those conflicts.
And just so, because I'm not even sure how this works either, this may be, I don't know who it falls to, but when this happens and they move through the property owners through there, what kind of communication will they have?
Yeah, so this is, because this isn't the site project, I'll let Tyler speak to that.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
that's fine.
Yeah, I'll probably be out there along with Chris King, that will help coordinate the road project. But with any other road project around here, I'll coordinate with owners, whether it be social media or actually since it's country, I can reach out directly, just let them know. The biggest thing is just working with the contractors of the project, just to let them know, to make sure everybody's on the same page and aware. Whether it be Mausoleum Road or just some of these small projects I do, I have the contractors leave notes on everyone's doors, letting them know time frame of when they're coming in, starting work. That way they're at least aware. Not only that, but because everybody's roadway will be worked on, we're going to make sure that full access is given to the owners, whether it be kind of wedging in with stone and such. That way they can get through there. So
One thing I will touch on, I guess I'm not the official word on this, but I've been on this board for 8 or 9 years, and I'm unaware, talking about annexation. I don't know, and some of you have been around longer than I have, I don't know if the city's ever had a forced annexation. In other words, they are requesting annexation, so they'll have public utilities. I know from any discussions we've had on anything that surrounds what we call the area next to us, that we
Extraterritorial.
extraterritorial. We have zoning plans, but I would not anticipate anybody trying to come get your house. If it was ever going to get annexed in, it's because you sold it to somebody who wants to put something there and they would annex it in. I can't speak for future, administrations, but nobody has ever wanted to force an annexation. So.
And to add a little bit of clarity to what Mr. Nelly had said, the petition this evening and every petition I've ever seen in my time as well is completely voluntary. So it is only annexing in the properties for this project because they have requested annexation of those properties.
Thank you. I do have one question. What are you storing? Cold food storage, cold people?
Cold food storage. Cold food storage. It's a supplier for restaurants.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Mr. Garrett?
Yeah, you mentioned rail access. Do you have an anticipation on the schedule in which these trains will be coming and going?
I don't have scheduled.
Okay.
for today. I would think it's gonna be kind of weekly. It's not gonna, I don't anticipate it being every day or anything like that. But we can certainly find out more. It's gonna be a function of working with CSX on their schedule.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be beneficial to the residents.
Yeah, it's designed for 3 rail cars at a time. So there's 3 dock positions for 3 rail cars. So that can provide quite a few French fries.
Mr. Clarkson?
Right now, CSX makes switches 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, just for information.
Ms. Sylvia?
So then my question, I guess, kind of back, because the questions that were proposed from all of you that are neighboring this project. So you're county correctly, right now, correct? And have you guys approached any of the commissioners in the county or anybody about your concerns as this project has kind of been talked about at all? So it's only been here in the city. Go ahead. Until today. Okay, until a couple weeks. Okay, okay. So Adam, I guess, what's not clear, if you can kind of comment to that, because I think there's this gap from county to city and whether the concern in terms about the annexation, if we don't force annexation and all those kinds of questions, then that means county also has, an interest in here and they really need to hear, what your concerns are about that as well. So that you don't have this gap in information. And it is one, it is there. We acknowledge that it's there. We don't, have that under this plan commission piece. We don't do that. But I think it's important that the county commissioners are aware of these things and that they're addressed. But Adam, please.
Yeah, and I think that kind of segues to another question or comment that was made about the future land use classification. This entire area, future land use classification comes from a map in the city's comprehensive plan. When that process was undertaken back in 2019, I believe, the city and county both went through that comp plan update process together so that our maps in these areas would align. Those future land use classifications are fairly broad, and it's painting with kind of a broad brush across, entire large districts. In that kind of mapping exercise, it's not going parcel by parcel. So it does pick up, homes and things like that, but it's talking more broadly in the area. So to that point about city and county coordination, in a long-term planning sense that's occurred, and those plans are in alignment, especially the extraterritorial jurisdiction that was mentioned earlier, and just kind of the fringe areas right around the city. Those maps matched exactly, and we made sure that the city and county were in agreement on all of that through that process and through public input and the like, but to make sure that there was not a divide there.
Thank you. Any more comments? Mr. Davis means?
Yeah, just to clarify, to make sure that I'm interpreting it right too, and I think it might help to ease some question about annexation. So probably next council meeting, which would be next Monday, then they'll be coming and asking for annexation to the city so that they can get services. That would not require the residents that live around there to be annexed as well, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. It would just be the 3 parcels that are part of this project, but not in the city limits yet.
And if you were part of the city, we do have things about, like ordinances about chickens and fire, but we can burn in town. Like we have ordinances like that if you're a part of town, but you'll still be part of the county, so you don't have to worry about that part. Enjoy your chickens.
Yeah, one more question. Back to the chicken. I think for chickens, it's only like one less county or city, I think. So, yeah. Yeah, we won't have to worry about that though. But my question more so is for staff. I know we talked about this in the last meeting because it seemed to be a problem of some folks not getting notified. And I think there was a question of what triggers what's the number that triggers that notification for the people? So,
Yep. So for Plan Commission, it's actually a little bit larger than most of the BZA cases, but it's 600 not 600 square, 600 linear feet from the subject properties or 2 parcels deep, whichever is greater. When you're out in these larger areas, larger parcels, that can sometimes only grab, 2, 3, 4 properties down the road sometimes. But that is the number in the ordinance, is that 600-foot rule.
Ma'am, do you own your home? You do, and you didn't get a letter from the city? Okay, I think we ran into that one time before. Okay. All right, thank you.
Related to that, and then I have another follow-up question to some other, but didn't we, like, from Poet, we learned, I thought we expanded that or voluntarily tried, especially we have a large project like this.
So the change we had made a few years back was directly in response to the Arbor Homes development on North Riley, Isabel Farms. And we set a threshold, I want to say it's maybe 50 or 60 acres, where if a project is at that threshold or above, and a single parcel in a subdivision falls in that 600-foot radius, the whole subdivision gets notified. In these unincorporated, larger, couple acres get split off from a farm kind of setting, that doesn't obviously trigger, entire subdivisions getting notified. But that was the change that we had implemented a few years ago because of that petition.
Well, that's something we should address at a later time, though, and look at that, because it's going to happen. We just want to make sure we're not excluding anybody.
Yeah.
So I think this last thing I have, unless somebody makes me think of something else, but going back to what Winnie said and what you explained, so really, because it falls under our planning jurisdiction, there's really nothing for the county commissioners involved in this then? Would that be correct? I don't want to tell them to go there or not. I'm just trying to clarify her question and your answer back.
Yeah. If we were going through, I know the county just went through a small update of their comp plan, but it didn't encompass any of these areas around the city. Was mostly Morrill Township and Morristown, and I think Waldron.
But they basically have no say so over this particular.
No, they wouldn't. And if we were going through some kind of update, it would be important for us and them to both be made aware. But
So that's where I was going with. So years ago, the county, there's what we call a fringe area. You're still in the county, but for planning purposes, and it goes back to Poet and some other things when all that was done. When somebody develops on the fringe, and maybe I should let you explain this better, but one thing, let me get my other thing out real quick here. This was something to do with the future land use. Can you touch on that real quick? Just because it says industrial, that doesn't affect anybody's house or if they sell that to another homeowner, correct?
that is correct. So the future land use map and future land use maps in general, the intent there is for us as the city and the county as well, just to state what our future intentions are. It does not mean that the zoning is changing on any of the properties. It does not impact the way that the property is used today or how it's used tomorrow or who it can be sold to. It is simply just stating that we intend for, again, painting with a broad brush, this general area
So if
to
the
be
developer came
industrial.
to town and he looked at, that's what you're planning, then he might reach out to those homeowners. Would you be interested in selling? We'd like to do this. If they don't sell, it doesn't, nothing happens,
Mhm.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I just wanted to clarify that for that few, what that meant, which kind of ties into probably your explanation too, I'm guessing a little bit, but.
Yeah, and it does lead, that future land use map. It's something that every one of our staff reports references. It's something, the comp plan in general is something that should be considered. And it does eventually lead to when properties are annexed in, voluntarily annexed in. It is the guiding document we use to assign those zoning classifications. So the next petition we're going to hear this evening, one of the main determining factors in writing our staff report is the comp plan and that future land use map.
Yeah, thank you. going back to the question that I heard, even though it's closed, I want to address this because he said, well, it's county. But years ago, we did that, and they should have got notified and when that was happening as well. Hopefully they did, because that whole area got notified of a meeting to talk about planning jurisdiction. Didn't annex anybody back then, didn't change they don't pay taxes, nothing changed, just the planning was ceded to the city because those are areas we knew people were going to grow into for development, correct?
So in those areas, this specific area, the ETJ has not been extended or established.
We hadn't done it.
No, the ETJ stopped, I want to say
I thought we did that.
200 north, maybe. But nothing has been established or assigned south of that. So there was no notice because there was no change in the zoning all those years back. Yeah.
Okay, any other comments? I'll close it to the board and I'll look for a motion. The property is in the county. Several years ago, well, I have factories around me. No, not that close. We've closed public comment. Thank you. We've closed. Thank you. Thank you. I'll look for a motion.
I have some, there's a lot of unanswered and I don't know, advise me here, but there's some unanswered things, not maybe so much with this, but the things surrounding it. Is there any thoughts from anybody of kicking it down the road or to go ahead and vote? I'm looking for some input from you guys on that.
Yeah.
Some guidance if we need it on that.
Yeah, Gary, I think you're 100% correct. I think it might be worth considering. Cause yeah, I think there are still, I think until, Tyler fully can be able to present maybe what the joint plan is with Structure Point and the other petitioner, I think it might be worth considering.
So I represent the petitioner. My name is Kyle Resiteritz. I'm an attorney with Denton's, working closely with Brad and Kylie on this matter.
He's with the petitioner. He's not with the public. He's with the commission.
Gotcha. You're not public, sir. You're out here with us. You're not public. You guys are voting, right? I'll leave after this. You guys are voting in these positions, correct? Enjoy them. You guys would not want this in your house.
Go ahead, sir.
We appreciate the back and forth dialogue, comments by Mr. Nally, others this evening. The order of tonight's agenda placed the development plan petition before the petition for rezone and annexation. I think from an order of operations perspective, how the discussion has matured this evening, a lot of the comments and dialogue has been surrounding the development plan petition because that's been the agenda item at hand, but we haven't gotten to the agenda item that is the annexation. And I'm curious if before the board, the Plan Commission were to perhaps consider a tabling or continuance, if maybe we could consult together, discuss with Adam, could we open the agenda item on the annexation, allow the petitioner, myself included, to present that matter, allow for the discussion, continued dialogue this evening. I can answer some additional questions to the extent that there are any. Perhaps there's a consideration of a vote on that matter, which again is agenda item number 3. And then you might be more inclined to be more well-informed or have a discussion on whether or not you'd want to vote on the development plan. I just offer that as a suggestion because I do think some dialogue around the annexation, even if it's just another voice in the room, which would be mine, on that could help the Plan Commission make a more well-informed vote on the second agenda item. I just offer that as a suggestion.
Um,
And
we-
and Kylie was going to offer just one follow-up there.
Just one more thought to that too. You mentioned punting this down the road until more time has been spent to develop the plans and the coordination. I do just want to note that this is for the site specifically, and the roadway plans are a separate project and will be developed fully through with Tyler and the city. But these plans were taken through the correct process, and we went through the review process at that time. So just wanted to clarify that. Thanks.
So from a procedural standpoint, then I'll kind of touch on Mr. Nolly's point. We can, if it's the Plan Commission's decision, table the petition for the site development plan and hear the annexation petition. And then if we want to this evening, reopen the site development petition and continue or make some decision on that. So that is, procedurally something we can do to the petitioner's suggestion there. I will also state or ask if it's the Plan Commission's decision to continue the site development plan to seek additional information, I would ask for a little bit of clarity on exactly what those kind of sticking points are. I want to make sure that we're keeping the decision and the discussion within the purview of the Plan Commission. A lot has come up, a lot of items that might be related, some that aren't, and some just adjacent to the petition. So if that's something we're doing, I just want to make sure from the staff standpoint that we are clear on what exactly would need to be answered or what additional information is needed. And then we can give some guidance if it's even something that we should be considering, I'll say.
Do you want a voice vote or a paper vote? Or does it just have?
So and I'll kind of look to the full Plan Commission.
Do we need a motion?
I will withdraw my concern, if that helps.
Well, and if we're wanting to kind of jump to the annexation petition, we can just voice vote to table this. And I'll remind everyone that the petition number is 2025-07, not 08. But we can table it, take up the annexation petition, and then we can take this off the table immediately after that, take it back up. So we can kind of jump to the next item if that's what we want to do. Make a decision on the annexation maybe, and then come back to the site development plan and have that discussion. And all of that can be a voice vote if that's your decision.
That's fine.
I'll make a motion if you want.
Okay, go ahead.
I make a motion that we table PC 2025-07 until following the next petition of 2025-09, the annexation, correct?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do you want a voice vote, Adam, or? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So we'll table PC 2025-7, and we will go ahead and hear PC 2025-09. And Adam, if you would read that, and if the petitioner would step to the microphone as well.
So the next and last item on our agenda is PC 2025-09 Van Trust Realty annexation is the same. I'm sorry, petitioner and owner's name as the previous petition. Petitioner's representative is Kyle Resenteris. The address of the property is approximately 1100 Mausoleum Road, and we've listed the associated parcels. The zoning classification currently is A1 under the Shelby County zoning ordinance, and the proposal after annexation would be IG General Industrial, and the request this evening is a formal recommendation on the zoning classification for approximately 41.57 acres being petitioned for annexation into the city's corporate limits.
Welcome, if you tell us about what we're looking for here.
Sure. So again, Kyle Resetaritz with Denton's attorney representing the petitioner. Thanks for your time this evening. We anticipated a lively discussion with the prior agenda item. Thankfully, it's offered a great deal of light to my petition presentation here, but I'll just kind of start from the beginning here. So the Van Trust, an affiliate of Van Trust, has 4 parcels under contract for purchase. One of those parcels currently resides in the city limits. Yes, sir.
Excuse me just a moment. Folks, if you want to talk, could you out in the hallway, please? Thank you. Go ahead.
Sure. Sits within the city limits. 3 of those, as shown, highlighted in the staff report on the screen, are adjacent to, but directly outside of the property. As permitted by Indiana law, what's called a super voluntary annexation. The petitioner, with authority by the 2 landowners, petitioned for annexation. The city has a process for pursuing that annexation. The first step is to make a first reading of an ordinance in front of the city council, a city common council. That occurred on July 7th. The next step of that process is to come before this commission for the commission to make a recommendation with respect to the zoning of the property. So if the property is annexed by the common council into the city, it needs to be given a zoning designation. So so the request before you this evening will be to make a favorable recommendation to the common council for an IG general industrial zoning designation for the 3 parcels at issue here. The 4th parcel under contract is already zoned within the city, that IG general industrial designation. Following a plan commission recommendation, this matter will go before the common council next Monday night. Next Monday night, the common council will consider the fiscal plan. The fiscal plan is prepared by the city's financial advisor to evaluate the financial impact of adding, in this case, 3 parcels to the city, the effect on police, fire, water, and other general services provided to any parcel within the city limits. 2 weeks after that meeting, I believe that's then the 18th of August, the common council will have what's called the second reading of the ordinance. So if the fiscal plan is approved next Monday night, there will be a second reading of the ordinance. Again, the first reading occurred on the 7th of July. Following that second reading, if the common council approves the ordinance, there's a process for publication of that ordinance in the local newspaper and then ultimate recording of that ordinance. Following that recording and filing, the 3 parcels would be included in the city boundaries. So again, just to bring you back then to tonight, before you this evening, you have a choice of a favorable recommendation, a negative recommendation, or in fact, no recommendation at all. It is in my practice that common councils or city councils in general look for some sort of recommendation from the plan commission, but of course that's up to you. We appreciate staff's favorable or recommendation for a favorable recommendation in the staff report. The staff report highlights what's called findings of fact that the plan commission need to make this evening with respect to the request for the rezone. Our petition included suggested findings of fact, but again, staff has offered their own. There are 5 findings of fact. The comprehensive plan and other, excuse me, let me move to the staff report to make it a little consistent with you. So the plan commission must pay reasonable regard to 5 criteria: the comprehensive plan, the current conditions and character of the current structures and uses, the most desirable use for which the land in each district is adapted, the conservation of property values, and that this is reasonable growth and development. The staff has found favorably for all 5 of those proposed findings of fact. The petition and petitioners find favorably as well. We think that this is consistent with the comprehensive plan. I'll answer some questions that were presented to the earlier matter. So these parcels are adjacent to general industrial already. They are zoned agricultural, but the comprehensive plan of the city identifies this growth area, everything following west along Mausoleum Road, to fit into this industrial development. So Adam offered what the jurisdiction is surrounding future land use. This is industrial future land use. We've made a recommendation for a general industrial designation because, again, that meets everything that you see in this purple color to the east and to the north is all zoned general industrial here. Just for the record, the proposal is for a 180 up to over 200,000 square foot cold storage building. We anticipate over 100 full-time jobs to be created by the end user. It is a build to suit building. So there is already a user in tow to this development. There are a new user to the county and a new user in the city. So this will be a new investment, a new corporate citizen that looks forward to being a contributing member to this industrial area along Mausoleum Road. The petitioner is working with the city's advisors, the mayor, Attorney Jenny Meltzer on a development agreement. Mr. Comstock mentioned that development agreement that will outline specifications for road improvements, utility improvements, and other specifications that will be the next step in the process after a plan commission recommendation and a common council vote to annex this property into the city of Shelbyville. We appreciate the collaboration to date by the mayor, the common council. This is our first opportunity in front of you this evening, so look forward to any additional dialogue that might be necessary. Answer any questions that you might have. Because there were questions in the prior presentation here, the annexation request before you this evening is only with respect to these 3 parcels. It will not impact the zoning of any adjacent property, particularly to the west and the south, that will remain in the county. If those landowners or future landowners of those properties to the west and the south wish to be annexed, they can make a similar petition as Van Trust VTR did, and which brought me and Brad and Kylie here this evening to make that petition to annex. The annexation will run with the land, meaning it will apply to these 3 parcels in perpetuity and into the future, whether or not it is Van Trust or another user owning the property in the future here. I'll close my presentation just by thanking you for your time. Again, welcome any dialogue and happy to answer any questions that present themselves from the public.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Claxton,
Nothing.
Mr. Garrett,
No questions.
Ms. Tinsley Price,
No questions.
Ms. Davis.
No questions.
Mr. Nolly,
None.
Ms. Sylvia, Mr. Hall.
Not a question, but a comment. I just wanted to thank you for stating kind of what's before us and our choices. Sometimes things can get messy and we do have different options on different petitions, but especially for the zoning, it is good to know on public record that we just make a recommendation and council does make the final say. So thank you for that.
Mr. Comstock.
No question.
I have none either. I will close this to the board. I will open it up to comments or questions to the public, and we are only discussing about the annexation of this property. The one before that has nothing to do with this. So just on the annexation of these properties. So if anyone would like to make a comment or statement, please come to the microphone and state your name and address, please. I see no one comes up, so I will close it to the public and reopen it to the board. And looking for a A motion, sorry, thank you, I went blind, dead. And this is only a favorable or a non-favorable recommendation back to city council.
I'll make a motion to forward a favorable recommendation for annexation petition presented before this body, assigning zoning classified IG, general industrial pursuant to planning staff's report and finding of facts.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. If you'll place your vote, please. Yes, sir.
This is a motion by Mr. Nolly and a second by Mr. Hall for a favorable recommendation on PC 2025-09. Mr. Comstock, yes. Mr. Hall, yes. Ms. Soviar, yes. Mr. Nolly, yes. Claxton, yes. Mr. Garrett, yes. Ms. Tinsley Price, yes. Ms. Means Davis, yes. Mr. Casti, yes. Motion carries.
Thank you. Now this will go back to City Hall, City Council for a Monday night meeting. Do we want to rehash?
If we can get a motion for us to bring PC 2025-07 off the table.
I'll make a motion to bring PC 2025-07.
Second.
Voice, okay. Mr. Claxton, a motion was to we start talking about 2025-7.
We've got nothing right now.
We need to actually vote on that.
We are voting.
Oh,
Do you want to roll?
sorry, I thought he was answering.
Yeah, do you want a roll call vote?
Just a voice vote
Okay.
to bring, a voice vote to bring the previous back to the table for further discussion.
Okay, I'll confirm that, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Nolly?
Yes.
Ms. Sylvia, Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Comstock?
Yes.
I also vote yes, so we can have more discussion within the board.
Adam, one thing that keeps coming to mind is, and I think it's a very important point to make, is when it comes to projects like this, one thing to remember is we can't force things onto people, or in this case, force them not to do something. So what I'm getting at is, since they're the ones asking for the approval, we have a, what is it called? Obligation by the city to look at for any kind of unsafe conditions or anything like that, that don't meet it. That's kind of what am I trying to say here?
Yeah.
When we had our onboarding meeting, you had a really good point of what is by law, what we are allowed to do and can't do.
Yeah.
If it meets what is within the state standards or city ordinance, we are kind of by law to approve it. Otherwise and such. Can you explain that better? Sorry, because I totally butchered that.
No, you're good. And I don't think you butchered it. I think you did a decent job. But to Mr. Comstock's point, the plan commission's role in all of this is, and like he had said, a petition is being brought before plan commission. It was brought before tech review before this and the Board of Zoning Appeals. And the choice on the land and the end user and the use and all of these things are not necessarily decisions that Plan Commission does not own the property and can't make a lot of those decisions. We are just, the role that the Plan Commission is playing is to ensure compliance with the ordinance and standards and the comp plan and those elements that are identified in the findings of fact in the staff report. It's not necessarily to drive the project or decide is it this parcel that it should be built on or that parcel or this side of town or that, more or less. So to that's kind of the role that's being played. And to the point earlier, if there are questions and concerns regarding that, that's kind of the purview where the discussion can be had and where if there's follow-up needed or something, that's kind of where we should be focusing in on, I think.
Can I just go ahead and ask a question? for that?
Yes, go right ahead.
Thank you. So the questions I think all the questions surrounding, I mean, some of them we answered for people, I think, as far as clarification about zoning and annexation, all that, but some of the others were the roads and things like that. But that's actually outside of this site development plan itself, correct?
Yes, yeah.
So those answers don't really play into this. They are concerns, they will be addressed, but that's a separate matter. And I'm asking this partly for mine, but partly for audience clarification, citizens. So they've checked off the boxes. They've got the proper drainage, the detention, preserving wetlands, parking, lighting, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They've checked all those boxes, so.
Yeah, and to a point that Mr. Comstock had spoken on before, there is a development agreement that at some point, city council will vote on and the board works that will obligate the petitioner and the property owner to some things and the city to some things, but those road improvements, utility, relocations and improvements and all of those aspects are part of that. And they'll be addressed and handled in that realm.
Thank you. So, go right ahead, Ms. Sylvia.
So then for, again, clarification, because I think we keep kind of going around here. So where do the property owners then go from here with their concerns? We are very clear on what our role is here, but there are still then, where is the next step for them, just in general?
So I'll answer this kind of in a few parts. After this evening, if the site development plan is approved, if this petition that we're hearing is approved, that will just go to permitting. That's the final step here. And to Mr. Comstock's point earlier, there are some vested rights that property owners have to develop in a certain way if they meet standards. On the annexation piece, that is going to city council. We made you all made your favorable recommendation. City council will make the final decision on that. In terms of, future land use and some of those things, a comprehensive plan update process is a good time to have that discussion. If at some point in the future, we extend our ETJ into these areas and we assign some zoning classifications, they will be notified and that will be a really good time to have that discussion. But this specific project, the only kind of next step or next meeting would be city council. And it would be solely on the annexation component. Yeah.
I have a follow-up to that. So we clarified that the road and all of that work is separate from this petition, but that is part of the public's concern. So when it comes to that piece, because there is nothing technically in writing set in stone for that, where could they voice their concerns for that later down the road or at the same time, I guess?
Yeah, so at some point in the future, city council will have to take a vote on that development agreement. So that will be a good venue. I do not know a timeline on when that's anticipated, but at some point in the future.
So for the public, they can look for that on a council agenda.
Yes. Yep.
I just want to start us being a good corporate citizen from the beginning. I do believe that development agreement is only going to go to the Board of Public Works instead of the council. So Board of Public Works is a speaking out of turn, but a 3-person board made up of the mayor and 2 members of the public. So the development agreement between the Van Trust entity and the city of Shelbyville will be in front of that board. I believe it meets at 8:30 a.m. every Tuesday morning here. It's not placed on an agenda item as we're still working that out, but I didn't want it to go to didn't want anyone to expect it to go to a different board than it is and ending up. I would just add that if there are items of concern that the general public can identify for the developer, Adam has my contact information. I can be available to answer those concerns, and also the mayor and the county commissioners just to answer a couple of their questions there.
Thank you. Are we ready for a motion?
I had one thing.
Okay,
I hate to seem like the bad guy, but I think I feel like we're just putting the cart before the horse, kind of approving this site before we have the road and drainage and all that agreement worked out first. I don't know if I'm the only one that thinks like that, but I think in the public's interest, I think it'd be best to have that agreement first and then, or have the agreement first and then have the site development approved.
I
Yeah.
understand that, and I think
Yeah.
legally,
they've checked everything
Oh,
that the city can, I agree with you too, but you know, who knows how long that agreement will take.
And another thing is the road project is under the city's umbrella. So that's kind of like as if the city was redoing the roadway. I mean, we are basically. So even though you have the private development piece and you have the roadway piece, it's as if the city's building the roadway. So,
Legally, they've met their standards.
yes,
They're supposed to bring before this board.
yeah.
I know it gets mucky.
Yeah,
agree.
I understand, yeah.
Yeah, they've satisfied everything there is for this board. Adam, I mean, is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, no, that's right. Yep.
I'm also very comfortable that Tyler's here and has heard all of this dialogue throughout the course of the day to take that move forward.
Yeah.
to completion.
And I'll speak a little, so Tyler and I had a call with the design team on the road project itself this morning. But as that design progresses, Tyler and myself and some other city staff will be involved on a regular basis as that develops out. We have been involved and we will continue to be. So everything that we've heard this evening, there's at least two of us that are going to have that in mind sitting on it.
Thank you. Okay. Are we ready for a motion now?
Go ahead, Woody, you've been trying to get one in all night.
I would like to make a motion to approve the site development plan as presented to this body pursuant to the planning staff's report and findings of fact.
Motion. Second. And a second. Cast your vote.
Mike, we might need an extra one. Oh, never mind, he found it.
This is a motion for approval on PC 2025-07 by Ms. Soviar and a second by Mr. Nolly. Mr. Garrett, yes. Ms. Tinsley Price, yes. Mr. Claxton, yes. Ms. Means Davis, yes. Mr. Comstock, yes. Mr. Hall, yes. Ms. Soviar, yes. Mr. Nolly, yes. And Mr. Casta, yes. Motion carries.
Good luck on your project. Thank you. Any discussion, Adam?
No, do we have anything for next month already? Okay. We'll probably have a meeting, a regular meeting next month. We had one item on tech review, or we will have one item on tech review this month, next week, but nothing else. Might have two items. Yeah,
Okay,
we will have a meeting.
Okay. Motion adjourned.
So moved.